Once you got the tire off, next thing to do is you'll have a rim lock. This does not have one on it, but you'll want to take the rim lock nut off. Okay. What I do is I carry a little pieces of duct tape. Okay, so I'll duct tape both sides of my hub here to keep dirt and stuff like that from going into the wheel bearings. Then, see, you need to remove the valve stem cord deal. And also remove your valve stem. So with a rim lock, generally speaking, you'll want to start there, okay, on removing the tire. It's one of my personal things I like to do. So, take this guy and you'll want to break the bead on your rim, and I'll show you this once I get it off and all the parts of the tire. But you'll basically want to start there, okay? Grab a couple of bites, a couple inches apart, okay? And bring it on over. Same way with this. If it's hard, you've got too big of a bite. By that I mean your spacing between your tire irons is too big. And so, should be able to just pop these guys right off. There's a lot of ways to change a tire. This is just one of them. Whatever works for you is the way to do it. Because some people like to bring the tire on the same side as they started when they take it off. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and yank the tube. I don't take the tube all the way out. I just take it partially way out, like this. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll flip the tire over. Okay, do the same unit, same thing on this side. The reason why I do it this way, because it's a lot easier to get the tire off when it's coming out towards you. A lot of people try to do it like this, the same direction, and I find this to be pretty tough. I don't know if you all do or not, but I find that doing it like this is kind of easier for me. So, this tire is also probably about 15 years old, so it's a little stiff and rotten.
Perfect for a demo.
Yeah, yeah. I shove the tire, or the rim, into the tire like this. Okay. Gives me a lot of room to then take the rest of the inner tube out. Okay. Here we go. Now, take this guy here. It's got a little lip right there. I'll just lay it right across the rim here so that the lip is holding it. Okay? If it's tough to do this. A lot of times it's pretty easy. All you do is grab the tire, pull it off.
Hold on, I got to get a photo of you holding the separation of parts.
Yeah.
Separation of tire and rim.
Okay.
There we go.
Now,
Turkey steak, not quite.
how many of you would like a little demo on patching a tube?
Yeah.
Okay. First you'll want to locate your hole, obviously, then rough it up quite a bit.
Were you behind me when that happened, or were you in front of me? No, actually, I was on top of the tank.
Hey, Laura, in the back of that Subaru over there, in the trunk, are some small patches in my fanny pack.
Literally, I knew I was doomed, and the bike started steering off, and I was right near the lady. The first thing I do
So you rough it up quite a bit. This does a couple of things. Gives you a new surface of rubber for the glue to adhere to. It's actually sort of glue. It's actually called a vulcanizing effect. A lot of people will make a mistake of putting on the patch when the glue is still wet. If you do that, it's most likely going to fail. She'll be back in a second or two. So it doesn't take much glue either. Just about.
They used to strike a match to them sometimes. That doesn't make any sense, so does it?
Yeah, it just helps it cure a little faster.
Okay.
Yeah. A little bigger than your patch size for sure on this stuff. Okay. And rubbing it about a little bit. So any questions so far? Okay. Just wait until the glue actually is no longer liquid. It's actually kind of gone into a sort of a sticky phase. Okay.
But it's tacky.
Uh-huh. And so there's your patch. Should I put this back in, I guess? Let's say I got a new inner tube. Okay. When you first pull it out of its package, that thing is pretty darn flat, right? Okay, so I'll take the valve stem out and just blow air into it. That way it's got to form something like this.
And it's a lot easier then to put back in if it's warm.
Uh-huh. You don't pinch the tube.
That one.
Okay, because the tube is now sitting in the tire, something like this, okay? So it's more difficult to pinch it. Whereas if it's a flatter tube, it can roll up on itself like that, and you can pinch flat it or try to roll the bead of the tire onto it. Yeah, a lot of people have different ways about doing this, but this is just kind of my way. So what I'll do next is install the tire tube in the tire. The tube's a little bit too big. I'll just sort of wad it in there a bit. Okay. Take the valve stem out for now. Okay.
Why do you take it back out at this point?
So that it can squeeze a little bit. Once you've got your your tube inflated, and you put it in, it generally stays in its shape. It doesn't want to flatten out again.
Better hurry and sit
If
down
it does,
before I go.
go ahead and put this back in. We can just put this in and maybe even leave it loose.
We have chairs somewhere. I can go grab it.
So it's in there, but loose, so it'll leak. Next I'll take this valve stem and I'll put it through the hole on the rim. When you do this, tire rotation comes into effect. A lot of tires have a little arrow on them for their direction, you've noticed. Most chains are on the left-hand side of your bike. So let's see, this would be the chain side. disc side. And let's say that I want the tire direction to go like this. Okay.
Because they're supposed to, or because you want to change the direction for a purpose?
Sure. Yeah, to get a fresh edge on the knob.
Okay.
Something like that. Again, you'll want to start off at either the valve stem or the rim lock. Okay, I like to start at the valve stem. So where you don't need to feed the valve stem through the rim when the tire's on. It's pretty easy to do this way. Then I'll just work the tire on. Notice I don't have any lube.
Soap and water?
Yeah, soap and water.
Or
I
baby
had some
powder.
that's usually makes this
baby
job
powder.
a lot easier.
Oh, okay.
Bead will sit here, and there's a big dip in here. And the bead sits up there. When you're putting the tire on, you want this part of the bead, which would be right here, to go into here. So that way the radius is smaller, and you can get it on the tire.
Oh, I see. So I was only trying to get it over this outer edge.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was trying to get it all the way over.
No, you're just trying to
Oh.
get it over the outer edge.
Oh,
Like that.
okay.
And
Well,
you'll just work it over. And so if things are not going very easily, check to make sure that that bead is sitting down into this trough.
in the well there.
Yeah, in here.
It
That's
looks like
real
it should naturally want to go there.
Uh-huh.
Should.
It does. But sometimes you'll get a tire that
Sometimes it doesn't.
just likes to crawl up on the edge. And you just pop it off like this. And it should stay off. So, yep. Anybody else want to try this? But
What is a rim lock?
it basically keeps the tire from spinning. It goes into one of these holes. Okay, it looks kind of like a valve stem.
If you
But-
turn directly around,
Right back there.
this
Oh,
is a rim
okay.
lock with a nut on the end,
Yeah,
as opposed to the valve stem where you put the air in.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, on the,
Thanks.
and then on the inside, it's about that long.
Yeah, it just sort of, what it does, it puts pressure on the tire against the rim, so the tire can't really spin. Okay. And so we'll just stuff it.
And in a race application, sometimes they even run 2 rim locks to make sure it does not spin.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Rick, I see as many guys do what you did as put the tire on, the first side of the tire on, and then put the tube in. Why do you prefer inserting the tube into the tire instead of putting the tube in right now?
Because I got big fingers, big hands, and it's a pain for me to try to get it underneath here and get the rim, the valve stem into the hole. That's the only reason. It saves me a bit of time.
I've run into that too.
Okay. Have a good day. Ride safe, man. Take care, man. Either the valve stem or the rim lock. Okay. That's where you want to start things. All right. And what I'll do is I'll put a knee here. Okay. Just sort of try to force the bead into the rim. Okay. And walk it around a little bit. So you'll see it wants to rise up instead of going into the trough. So that's another reason why I put a set of knees on it. Okay.
Yeah, would,
Here. What's that, Laura?
I was going to say, when you're breaking the bead, obviously this probably wouldn't be something you do when you're putting it back on, but when you're trying to get it off and you're trying to break the bead, we've actually had to use kickstands. Use a bike kickstand on the tire to push it down enough to break the bead.
Yep. That's one way to do it. I'll show you another way in a minute. Okay, so as I get towards the end of it, you'll see me taking smaller and smaller bites. Okay, till it's about to here. And I'll just divide it by 2 and send it on over. Oops. Get in there. Okay. Oops. Guess that was too much. Things are not going very well. So I gotta make sure. Yeah. Make sure this is off of the bead.
Ta-da!
Ta-da. So another thing to do, how you can pinch a tube, is when you're putting the tire on, let me go ahead and pull a little bit of this back. If you're putting the tire on and you go past this point right about here with your tire iron, you've got a good chance of pinching your tube because it'll go. Let me slide this back here like this so you can see what I'm talking about. The tip of the tire iron, you don't want that to ever pinch into here. Even though the tube's in there, it might have slipped out. Fortunately, with air in it, I've had it happen to me once